for. It's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's dedicated, by the way, to the Challenger crew, which is very nice, and it's got a lot of things that the usual Star Trek movie doesn't have. A little more heart, I think, and a little more sensitivity, not just sci-fi. But many of you who watch T.J. Hooker will be happy to know that my next guest has traded in his Buick again for another starship. He'll be returning, this is what they asked me to read, and I will indeed, as Admiral Kirk, an actor who is worth the trek, the star of the new movie, I thought that was clever. An actor who is worth the trek, the star of the new movie, Star Trek 4. Will you please welcome Mr. William Shatner?
Thank you. I've been cooped up all day with these interviewers, and we've been doing massive interviews. Yes. I've been one-on-one with people for days, and to see more than one person in a room is overwhelming.
Isn't that great? Look at this. Look at
this. Large band, large audience.
But
thank you.
Isn't it great when you're doing interviews on a thing you know is a hit? There are no apologies in your interviews. You can sit back and...
I'd like to talk to you in a couple of weeks. The movie opens the 26th.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Thank you.
But don't you feel it? Don't you know it in your heart somewhere?
Kinda.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a little sneaking feeling people are going to come and see it.
What happened... Because I thought Star Trek was on for years and years and years and years and years, the series.
Well,
and
it
wasn't. How many years?
Well, it was on national television for 3 years. We made 3 years of episodes. But it then began to... went into syndication. It was canceled and went into syndication and played and played and played. So some people think we've been doing them for years, but in fact, we stopped 17, 18 years ago.
But I mean, why only 3 years? That amazes me, that it only lasted for 3 years.
Well, like any series on the air, it went off. Enough people weren't watching.
And then just got a whole other life going.
Well, I think the mystery is somewhere in syndication and an earlier hour. And somehow people began to watch it, and then it became cumulative, and people watched it and watched it again and again.
And know all the episodes, know all the dialogue.
I met a guy. Guy drove me someplace in a car, and he said, "Stop the car." And he said, I got to talk to you. I said, I was in Vietnam, yeah. He said, "You saved my life." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I was captured, and it was worse than those terrible movies you see where you're incarcerated and terrible, terrible things, and half a dozen of the men with him. And they began to play a game to keep themselves alive called the Star Trek game. And they all knew the episodes, and somebody would start off with some line, another guy would then join in with another line. They'd do whole episodes, and they kept themselves alive for 2 years playing the Star Trek game, and we were both crying by the time he finished. Tears rolling down our eyes. It was a beautiful moment.
That's great. Yeah. It's just lovely. Had they ever made a Star Trek game, you could have cashed in on that story. A little tears go
terrible. Right. It's terrible. How can you be so bad?
You could split it with him. You give some to the VA hospital,
It's not working.
I look at you, and your great success, besides T.J. Hooker and everything, but and Star Trek, but you started out as a very serious actor, and you were wonderful in Andersonville and things like that.
Oh, thank you.
Do you ever get a little frustrated because they all know you now as, Captain Kirk, and do you think, no, I can do other things?
Oh, I just tell them,
Hell with you guys.
Yeah, I can do other things. Attention,
Do you try to balance? Like you're doing Star Trek, you go off to do another Andersonville trial?
Well, the Star Trek thing for us, the people on the cast, we were in it 20 years ago. It stopped, was syndicated, played, and then they began to make movies about 10 years later. And we make a movie every year and a half, 2 years. So there isn't really that much affiliation. I, as you mentioned before, was on T.J. Hooker for 4.5 years, and I made 2 of those films during that period. So I guess I'm identified with it. There's no question about that, but I have done a lot of other things.
What about Leonard Nimoy? Now, I don't know if you're friends or you're not friends. Everyone thinks if you work together, you're friends.
We're wonderful friends.
But do you go to each other's house for dinner? You like
We're not that good friends.
No, so you're friends. Yeah.
We're friends.
I mean, you're friends, but you're not like, where are you going this afternoon?
No.
All right. How did he directed the last 2 Star Trek?
The last 2 Star Treks. Yeah.
Now, you're a very good actor.
Yes.
Do you, well, yeah.
Hey, it's her show. Am I going to deny what she says?
What do you do when he comes up to you and says, Bill, that last take, it stank?
I said, what do you know? Oh, you think you're a director? You're an actor. I talk to them like that. They understand.
You're going to direct the next one, right?
You better not talk to me that way.
Have you directed before?
Oh, many times. I directed a lot of film and, on television and a lot of theater. But Leonard is a wonderful director.
Oh, I know.
And a wonderful mind, and we have a great time together.
You started out in New York as a theater actor,
Yes.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
me too. We all, yeah. Oh, we'll talk, yeah. Now,
And here we are.
And here we are. I'm behind a desk checking, counting flowers. This is the cheapest thing you've ever seen. No.
At least you got them. The other guy doesn't get them.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Let me do a commercial. And now a word from Magnavox Universal Remote. It controls your Magnavox TV and virtually any VCR and cable system. Now that's control. We'll be right back to discuss that. Okay. William Shatner. Now, you started... Did you do well quickly as an actor, or did you...
No,
I struggled a lot.
It was like the Spirit of St. Louis getting off the runway. It was just slowly getting up.
And especially in New York. It's so
New York was tough. Of course, I started in Canada. I don't mean to throw you for a loop.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I started there, and it was a struggle. I had to survive.
Is that when you took extra jobs, like we all did?
Well, no. I have been... Sorry. Your notes are wrong. I never really did anything else but act. And when I wasn't acting, if I didn't get an acting job, I did something else. I wrote or I directed, or I was always connected directly with the theater. I never had to do those things. Of course, I had to survive in other ways.
Such as?
Well, I had to eat. One of the tricks that we actors had devised, and I don't know whether I should tell this to America at large, because
nobody's watching us.
Oh, that's true. I did read the ratings. I'm only joking.
You can say it because it's a joke.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're beating a lot of people. I'm not going to mention names. Go ahead.
In New York.
And Chicago.
Oh.
Let's not discuss this. It's so pushy. And San Francisco. Go ahead.
Oh, my. What else?
Detroit. Go ahead.
Detroit, too? That's all the major markets.
Gracious in victory. Go ahead. Go ahead. So go on.
You need a pencil. You need to flip a pencil. Well, as actors, you had to survive. So, I mean, one of the things we would do, this was passed down from father to son, this kind of information. So I'm passing it on to you, my daughter. You'd go into a grocery store, and you'd get a carton of milk. In those days, it was a quart of milk, a bottle of milk, and you'd drink the milk in the store. Furtively looking around, drink the milk quickly. You now have an empty bottle or carton. You fill the carton up with whatever you have and eat it quick. Peanut butter, mayonnaise, jam, a little bread, and stir it all up and eat. And you could have a whole meal in a grocery store and walk out with having paid for a carton of milk. This was, of course, in the old days.
In the old days. We don't do that now.
I hope not.
No. Now, you just said daughter to me, not me to me. But you have 3 daughters, right?
I do indeed.
Are they as good looking as you?
Oh,
you're a good look. You know you're a good looking man. Come on.
You call me talented, you call me.
Yes, but you know it.
I'm going to explore strange new worlds with you.
Oh, sure. They all say that and then they go home. Hey.
Well, you have other guests.
Are you worried about them in this town being hit on? Because I heard you were a wild man when you were single.
You got the strangest notes I ever saw. I am kind of worried, but I've taught them karate. And I've taught... No, they can handle themselves, and it isn't really that bad. I mean, come on. It's the same in any industry. Men are chasing women, and it's up to women to do what they have to do.
Tell how...
You know about those things.
Sure. Tell about how you met your wife, how you proposed to your wife, and then we want to show the clip.
You want to show the clip of my wife and me?
Well,
You have cameras in the strangest places, bro? And the notes and the cameras. You sneak anything for this show. Well, I don't know what to tell you now. But Marcy and I were in a show together called the Andersonville Trial.
Right. Oh.
And she was working behind the camera. I was working in front of the camera. And I kind of had eyes for her. And one day I lured her into a closet, ostensibly to run my lines. So I said, would you run my lines for me? Enter this closet. And we sank to our knees in a moment of passion. And the janitor opened up the door to get the mop. And there he found us on our knees. I don't know what he thought, but...
In the closet.
Yeah, I guess he was coming to mop up or something. Yeah.
Most of my friends come out of the closet to make love. But that's... Well, I just thought of that. Well, not great. Now, tell us about the clip, because that's why...
The clip?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'd rather do? I'd rather tell you after the clip, because I don't know what
show us the clip. Yeah. All right. Show us the clip.
I feel like Monday Night Football after the clip.
Star Trek.
Excuse me. Do you mind stopping that noise?
And I hope you're blue too. We're all bloody wetlands.
Admiral, may I ask you a question?
Buck, don't call me Admiral. You used to call me Jim. Don't you remember Jim? What's your question?
Your use of language has altered since our arrival. It is currently laced with, shall I say, more colorful metaphors. Double dumbass on you, and so forth.
You mean the profanity?
Yes.
That's simply the way they talk here. Nobody pays any attention to you unless you swear every other word. You'll find it in all the literature of the period.
For example?
Well, the collected works of Jackson Suzanne. The novels are Harold Robbins.
Ah. The Giants.
You were great in that.
Oh, let me explain that clip.
You were really great.
We were on a bus, you see, and we returned to the 20th century in order to fix something. And we get into problems with the 20th century. We actually wandered around San Francisco on location in our wardrobe, and nobody paid us any mind. We melted right into the background there.
Now, when are you going to... the movie opens?
The 26th of November in some 1,200, 1,400 theaters around the country.
Well, it's just going to be such a success, and please come back again. Thank
Please
you
ask
so...
me.
Oh, you're just wonderful. We'll be right back with Mary Hart, El DeBarge, and Anise de la Rançon after these messages of interest. Okay.